to Working on Wellness, Health and Mind's bi-weekly wellness podcast where we discuss wellness through the lens of mindfulness, mental health, nutrition, sleep, exercise, and healthy relationships. We're stoked you're with us today as we meet with the founder of Juju Frequencies, Julian Desta. Julian is not only a certified sound healing guide, but also a yoga and meditation teacher, a Reiki practitioner, and an artist. We'd like to remind you that you can learn more about the 6 tenets of wellness and how to get connected with us here at Health and Mind by clicking the link in the show notes. So first of all, Julian, welcome to the podcast. Thanks again for being on, man.
Hey, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. DJ, who is the founder of Health and Mind, says a lot of positive things about her experience with you and all the things that you do. And as a musician myself and a mental health counselor, my curiosity's piqued about sound healing because I feel I'm just now starting to poke around in that world. So maybe we can start there. For our listeners that aren't familiar, what is sound healing?
So a basic overview is we use different instruments, and the instruments is a wide range of instruments. Typically, when people think of sound healing, they think of singing bowls or gongs. And basically, we use those instruments to set your body into a deep, relaxed state where you're not fully conscious, you're not fully unconscious. You're sort of right in the middle. So as the vibrations carry, your body might feel like it's going in and out of consciousness. And that's just really how your cells and your whole body, the water in your body, is reacting to the vibrations. And it's a really nice relaxation practice, but it has a wide range of benefits, from stress to helping people sleep better, even for healing aches and pains in the body, headaches, the list goes on.
I didn't even think about this beforehand, but when you said it, I thought, what a great place, what a great mental state to process things that you're dealing with in relationships or maybe past trauma or life decisions. It just seems like a new environment where you can explore those things with sort of maybe a fresh mind state. Do you experience folks kind of coming into it with something to work on through the process?
Always. Each person who comes, even the people who repeatedly come, experience something a little bit deeper or different each time they come, because it really drops you back into yourself. It really hits your ears, and your ears are sort of like a portal. Just like your eyes are a portal to see the world, your ears are a portal to the sounds in the world. So when you hear these sounds, it really makes you drop back into yourself and really explore what's happening inside your body. So a lot of people experience seeing colors, having visions, a wide range. Some people have told me they've experienced past lives. It's really deep. It goes really in depth to what it can do for you as a healing modality.
That's incredible that it can do all of those things with purely sound, especially as I'm sure all of our listeners are tapped into the music they love. Perhaps they go to concerts. They have experiences with sound and probably mostly music. Are you pretty aware of how the sounds you're using are going to affect the participants, or is there a lot of subjectivity and dependent on the person and how they're doing that day or maybe their health?
Yeah, exactly. It definitely it's a relationship. So it's the person playing the sounds themselves, and then the participant who's receiving the sound. And yes, depending on the day, depending on the energy of the planet at the time, each experience is going to be different and unique. And the person next to you might experience a totally different experience than the person next to them, depending on what the body needs. And the sound is basically it's its own intellect, it's energy, so it knows what each person needs. So one person might just fall asleep as soon as they hear it. Another person might start to like I said, start to see the colors. Another person might just start to feel their body tingling. So it's different for everybody.
You mentioned that it's sort of you're conscious, but you're also a little unconscious. You're somewhere in between there. That sounds like it's kind of a commonality for the people that come to see you. And I'm wondering what causes that state.
So the vibration, everything vibrates. So when you experience sound, the vibrations actually interact with the cells, the water in your body, and basically how you would almost drop a pebble into a pond or some water, and you would see that ripple effect. The same thing is happening to your body when you experience sound. That sound frequency hits your body, and it creates this ripple effect throughout your body. That's even how the sound sounds. It's more like a whoop 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 whoop. That's how your body experiences as well. Your cells, the water starts to ripple and go in and out and fluctuate, make waves, and then you start to feel that wave pulling you, that sound calling you in and out, until eventually it just relaxes you. It's almost like rocking you to sleep, with the vibration.
It kind of reminds me of you've heard of cymatics, I'm sure, where you see physical objects moving.
Yeah.
And so it's causing that sort of, it sounds like it's a specific effect you're having on the person with the instruments that you choose. I've heard of certain frequencies create certain effects, or rather that your brain is operating at certain frequencies when it's in different states, such as anxious or calm and focused. When you choose your instruments, are you going into different sessions with different intentions, or is it sort of maybe you hit a little bit of everything and the person kind of responds? How do you sort of set up for a sound journey?
Great question. I really tap in intuitively. I could have an intention, like if we're doing one on a full moon, and bring the full moon and the vibrations of renewal in, and things like that. However, I bring a wide range of instruments, and it's in that moment that I start to tap into what the people sort of need in that moment. And I will go from there. And I bring a wide range so I can have access to different things. I might want to use Tibetan bowls just for the whole sound bath, or I might want to mix Tibetan bowls with crystal bowls, or I might just want to do a didgeridoo for a while. So it depends on that moment,
and depending on just whatever I use, that helps the person. So what I like to think of it as I create soundscapes. So I use a wide range of instruments that just take you on a journey through a wide range of instruments that it'll take you anywhere and everywhere. So you might go deep into the depths. You might feel like you're in the ocean at one time, and then you might hear another instrument that just take you into the cosmos, into the stars. So it depends on what I use. And I've heard a wide range of different experiences with the instruments. For a didgeridoo, for instance, some people say it feels like they're levitating when they experience the didgeridoo. Some people say like they just feel really rooted and grounded when they hear the didgeridoo. Other people feel like they're not even on the planet anymore. So, like again, it's different for every person. I might use the same instrument, but everybody hears it and experiences it differently.
Where do you go when you're creating these soundscapes? I imagine you have to keep a foot in reality to continue to create, but at the same time, what you're doing it's such a transcendent experience for those experiencing it. It must take you somewhere. What's your experience as you've done this for, sounds like 20 years?
For me now, again, like the sound has its own intellect. So it almost just like it's telling the people and sort of helping them experience what they need to experience. It's sort of guiding me as well. And when I first started doing sound bath, I was very mind focused on what am I doing? Am I doing this? Now it's really the sound is just sort of controlling me as well. And I'm just the conduit, and it's let me know how loud I should go, how soft I should go, when I should switch or fade out to a different instrument. And it often just leaves me very energized at the end. When I'm done, I'm just feeling very energized. But as I'm in it, it's just like the sound is really literally telling me what to do instead of me telling the sound what to do. It's amazing.
Sounds beautiful. As I mentioned, I'm a musician. I had an experience once though where I was invited to create sound. That's what my friend called it, where two non-musicians and myself got in a room and there were no rules. It was just enjoy sound. There was no time signature. There was no key. We were hitting everything in the room. It was loud, but then it was really soft. And I never felt so free in a room with sound.
Yeah.
I had no rules, and it really could affect me individually. So I really resonate with what you're saying here about how it becomes less and less of a conscious process on your part, and more you're sort of in the experience with them, and your experience probably is factoring in there. How did you get into using sounds for these healing purposes? Were you a musician in your own right, or was it sort of through these other healing ventures that you've been through?
A little bit of all of that. Like when I've always had an instrument in my life ever since I was a kid. Thanks to my mom, they would always give me something if I asked, like, "Hey, I want a guitar." They'd give me a guitar. I had trumpet in middle school. I mean, there's always been an instrument with me throughout all of my life, I could say. And then I would say before I even really got into sound healing, I was still playing like hand percussion, djembes, things like that. But I got my hand on a didgeridoo that my friend made. He made it out of bamboo, and we traded each other. I made T-shirts at the time, and we traded each other. And I started playing the didgeridoo right from there. And for me, I caught on very quickly. It's not an easy instrument to learn, but for me, it came pretty naturally. And so I got the drone, and then I learned how to circular breathe. And then from there, I kept doing that, not really knowing anything, but just, oh, I enjoy this instrument. And then when I switched and did my yoga teacher training, that's when everything started to turn. And I started to, a friend gifted me my first pair of crystal bowls. And then from there, that was it. I just started doing sound baths. Actually, at the end of my yoga certification, that's what I did as my final project. I did a sound bath for the class, and people resonated with it. They really liked it. And so I just kept going. Every time I would do my yoga classes, I would introduce sound into it. And it just kept going. It really grew from there.
What a cool story, man. I want to experience it. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
pick you up, man. This is too cool. Yeah.
Well, we have one. We just created it. It's going to be June 14th on the full moon at Chimborazo Park outside under the full moon. So there's your invite.
Appreciate it. I'll be there. Sounds
Yeah.
awesome, man. Yeah, I'm so excited by this. As I mentioned, I'm a resident in counseling, and that's obviously a health field, and I also a musician. So this intersection of healing and sound is really interesting to me. You mentioned how it really became integrated once you had your yoga training, and that makes me wonder about the preparation for what you do. Folks might come to you from all different backgrounds, some that might have a practice of meditation or Reiki, some that might not. Do you have a preparatory ritual maybe that you go through to get somebody in the space to receive your sounds before you begin?
I try to always, I really, how I come is the energy I bring. So I try to come early enough where I can set up, and then I can drop into a small meditation or relaxed space. So when people are coming into that space, they feel welcome, they feel relaxed, they're ready to lie down and just get comfortable. So I always definitely, because the people playing sound baths, we are space holders. So we're holding space for all these people. That really depends on how we show up. So if we're showing up in a mood, if we're showing up rushing, that can be felt through the sound, and the people can feel that. So I always try to give myself ample time to be able to sit up, almost in a ritual type setting, charge the space, set intentions in the space before the first person even comes in, so that energy is already there. And yeah, that's usually how I do it.
Good for you. You're bringing the energy with you, and you're inviting people into that space rather than needing to get them somewhere. You get yourself where you need to be, and
Yeah.
I love it.
Yep.
Right
Yeah,
on.
thank you.
So, with these three different healing modalities that you operate within, what does a day in the life of Julian look like with these? Do you feel like you get to do a lot for yourself in your preparation, or do you feel like it's mostly practicing? How does it look like in your daily life?
For me, this is what I love about these healing modalities, is that it's a win-win situation. So when I'm doing it with other people, it's also giving me good energy and good vibrations, and healing me in the same process as it's healing the people I'm working on. Um, when I'm not doing it with other people, I'm playing an instrument every day. That was the lesson of sound. Like, play it every day. It gives you information. It heals you. It brings joy to you and unlocks stuff in you. So do it daily. So it is a daily practice for me. It's not something I just wait until the next sound bath. No, I play every day, whether it's my didgeridoo, my flutes, my hand pans. I have to. It literally is like I will feel off if I didn't do that daily. So, and the same thing with my yoga, my meditation, all of these practices are meant to to be with us wherever we go. Like you don't need a yoga mat to do yoga, right? You find a nice space and you do it. You activate it. You don't need a space to do Reiki. You just know how to place your hands and activate the Reiki. You don't need a place or a special thing for meditation. You can just sit on the bus, close your eyes, start breathing deeply and connecting. So these modalities are meant to be a part of us, not something that we do arbitrarily or on a certain day. Like we can access it at any time, and once you know that, you can do it anywhere. You can do it in the morning, do it in the evening, do it for a few minutes at lunch. That's what I love about it. It's like I always have it there with me.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a complete lifestyle for you and not something that is something you're good at and you do it now and then. No, it's something that on a daily that is not only a part of your maybe routine or the way you live your life, but it is something that you really believe in this life is to be in touch with this life energy. I believe that's what Reiki means, right? Life energy.
Life force, life energy. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I that was the lesson from all these practices. Like they give you that life force energy to keep going, to keep being your best, trying your best, and then being there to be able to show up for yourself and others. So yeah, it's like that's natural medicine.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it doesn't require words. It requires presence, and sounds like a bit of openness to it, and a little bit of a hands open mentality to allow yourself to experience these things. That's really great. You work with individuals, you work with couples, you work with groups. What do you notice as some of the differences, if there are any, to working with different people?
Well, when I work individually with people, I can hone in more to what their specific need is, and I can use certain instruments based on that need. So I can sometimes it might just be strictly tuning forks that I use for a one-on-one session, or it might be a didgeridoo. I've done a 7 chakra didgeridoo session and just use 7 different frequencies of didgeridoos to work on a person. It could be bowls. So I can really hone in on an individual with a specific instrument and do a more intimate, personal healing experience, as opposed to working with a group. Sky's the limit because there's a lot of people. So, and it depends also if I'm outdoors or if I'm inside. If I'm doing one inside, I like to find a good space inside that room where those vibrations are just going to be bouncing all off the building, inside the walls, reaching all the people in the back as well as the people in the front. And if I'm doing a group one outside, that's the beauty, because nature comes in and assists. The birds will start chirping to the instruments. The cicadas will start ringing. It's truly just a magical thing to do it outdoors, because nature loves sound baths. Like it truly, they'll chime in, and it's magical every single time. Yeah.
I'm excited for June 14th, man.
Me too.
That's so cool. Cool. Wow. I'm running out of questions here for you, man. I've been sort of throwing them at you rapid fire, and the message I'm getting here is that these sounds will heal you and will take you places and intuitively where you need to go. And there's mystery to that. It's not something you can explain, because you're doing one thing that's affecting different people in different ways. And in order for them to receive that gift, it seems they need to be with someone that's intuitive and in touch with a muse such as yourself, and also open to the experience. Maybe I'll ask you this. Someone that's never experienced sound healing before, maybe even skeptical, what sort of resources would you offer them to maybe dip their toes into this?
with the technology age that we're in, there's plenty of places to access sound baths. They do them online. You could definitely check out YouTube. You could also even now just type sound healing into your streaming modality, whether it's Spotify or Apple. Something will come up now because it's everywhere, and that would be a nice, good, like just to give you a taste of it. But it won't give you the full feeling until you attend a live one, because once you start to feel those vibrations hit you, it's a whole different experience than you just listening over a speaker or headphones. And that's not to say that the speakers and headphones don't have their effect. They do, but it's just different than experience a live one and actually feeling those vibrations hit your body. Yeah.
Yes, yes. In my preparation for this interview, I was watching a video about using certain vibrations to help people with dementia. They were tapping into a frequency. I want to say it was 10 hertz was the difference between the binaural
Yeah.
rhythm. Anyway, what they did was they helped the woman by sitting in a chair that the whole chair vibrated. So it wasn't
Yeah.
just, but to your point, you really need to feel it. And I also believe that when you take time out of your day to come to something and you make it a moment, you make it a thing where I'm not surfing online while I'm doing this. I'm here
Yeah.
with the whole experience. That I could see how it would be um, just be more beneficial. You'd reap more benefits from the process. Another thing I'm curious about too is you've done this for. I read your bio on your page, over 20 years. What have you noticed in the change of people that you've worked with over the years? Have you noticed a change in their reception to these sorts of practices? What are some things that maybe you've learned over the last 20 years as far as how you operate within them and how you deliver them?
Well, in my 20 years, fully, I've actually been doing sound healing maybe half that time, like 10 years. But
Okay.
the other 10, I've been using other instruments that I didn't realize at the time I was doing sound healing. For instance, like I practice capoeira, and I've been doing capoeira for over 20 years. And the berimbau, the instrument we use, is a sound healing instrument. It has a gourd on it and a resonator that sits on your belly at your heart, and you're constantly tapping the string of it, which is sending these vibrations into your organs. And I'm quite sure doing a good, healthy, just mix up of your organs and keeping them stimulated and vibrant, for doing that over 20 years. And so now I've converted that into my sound healing, using that same instrument for people in my sound healing. So I could say that the people I've worked with over these 20 years, they're still like very good friends of mine, and they're still doing this practice too, because they too have seen the proof and what this does for them and does for a community. If anything, what I love about music always, whether it's sound healing or a show, it brings people together. And that's the beauty of it. Like, it brings people together, which we need. And when people are coming together, seeing that they're all here to enjoy the same thing and the same, it's that unity and that energy, and that's a vibration that I enjoy seeing. One day I was doing sound bath and I was in that zone, and I just happened to look up and just noticed that there were like 30, 40 people just spread out in stillness, just came together just to be still and be peaceful and be just like their best selves just by lying there. And I was like, whoa, this is a powerful practice. So yeah, over the years, it's only reinforced that this is something that we need as a community, need as individuals, but also as a community, and the world needs it.
Keep saying it, man. I'm just excited to finally experience it. As I mentioned, me being a musician, I teach music, but I'm also in a band that plays shows, and it's something I just don't get sick of. Just
Yeah.
playing music and people going, oh, coming together for it, and yeah, just too cool. I thank you again for your time, Julian. And before we sort of wrap up here, do you have any information you want to give to our listeners and how maybe they can get in contact with you, and some specifics on what you offer?
Yeah, you can reach me via my website, which is a jujufrequency.com. You can also find me on Instagram under that same title, a Juju Frequency. And also, you can also reach me if you want to reach me through Gmail, which is Juju Arts, ARTX at gmail.com. And mostly I post on Instagram, also Facebook, for when I'm doing my next events. And the next one is, like I said, June 14th at Chimborazo Park at 8 p.m. And I believe sunsets at 8:32. So the full moon will be coming up, and it's going to be a beautiful experience.
Thank you again for your time, Julian, and thank you to all of our WOW listeners for checking in with us today. Feel free to follow us on Spotify or Google Podcasts for more episodes. For questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at intern@healthandmind.net. And lastly, don't forget to follow our social media. We are on Instagram and Facebook at HIMRVA. And all you do, keep your health in mind.